What's up, you guys? Welcome back to the channel. So once again, we are here to discuss the X-Men.
To me, my X-Men.
To me, my X-Men!
To me, my X-Men.
To me, my X-Men.
Now for this video, I am going to talk about a very different type of conversation, and that is giving my critique on an adaptation of one of my favorite X-Men characters, and that so happens to be Rogue, which is why I am wearing a Gambit and Rogue shirt. If you see my X-Men 97 review, you've seen this shirt before. But look what I have right here. I have a commission doll. This was designed by a good friend of mine. I love Rogue. Rogue is a powerhouse. She is boisterous. She is bold. She has a spunky personality, a fun personality. I love her relationship with the Gambit. I love that she is that dependable team member to get done. She is that team member that's going to swing first. She is the team member that you need in the midst of a firefight. Like I say this all the time. Everybody thinks that Wolverine is the oh so violent one. Piss Rogue off. Piss Rogue off, and you're gonna see the consequences.
Thought your kind were the good guys.
You killed those, Sugar. Now, you get me.
My favorite version of Rogue is the only Rogue that I acknowledge. And that sounds a little bit problematic. And also it's going to cause a little bit of controversy because a lot of X-Men fans, they are a fan of the persona, the adaptation of the goth version of Rogue. How Rogue appears in X-Men Evolution, how Rogue appears in the Fox X-Men movies when she was played by Anna Paquin, and how Rogue appears in the adaptation Wolverine and the X-Men. They love that version of Rogue. It lands well with the fans. A lot of people are obsessed with the goth version of Rogue.
The X-Men reimagined Rogue from a Southern belle to fit into the subculture and did a full send on like the moody, cynical, and rebellious trope, and we are still to this day living for it.
Evolution Rogue was a top 3 goth baddie growing up.
Listen, the last time I danced with a guy, he nearly ended up in a coma.
X-Men Evolution is probably the single best version of Rogue ever.
Need I say more?
The icon of this series, Goth Rogue, was such a movement, guys. And I'm not sure who chose this direction, but they were a visionary and deserve to be rewarded.
The problem is, I hate it. I hate it. This video might garner a lot of backlash from a good amount of X-Men fans, but I don't care. I don't like goth version of Rogue, and I'm going to explain why. But before we do that, y'all already know I got to play my theme song. I'll see y'all on the other side. Now, first up, let me acknowledge the projects that first introduced the goth version of Rogue, because it wasn't X-Men Evolution. It was actually the very first X-Men film. That was released on July 14th, year 2000. I strongly feel that Anna Paquin's version of Rogue, you know, the teenage, secluded, dark clothed wearing Rogue, don't want to interact with anybody. I feel like that version of Rogue is really set off the goth version persona of Rogue that everybody so loves and appreciates, because that same year, on November 4th, 2000, X-Men Evolution was released. And that is where a lot of people fell in love with the goth version of Rogue because of what they seen in the adaptation of X-Men Evolution. I have 3 main reasons why I'm not going to say I hate the goth version of Rogue, but it's like I don't really acknowledge it. And I don't participate in the conversations of the people that are always bigging up Goth version of Rogue. I just stay away from it because I don't want to piss nobody off. But I can piss people off on my channel, so it is what it is. But I have three main reasons why I do not care for the Goth version of Rogue, and we're going to get into it. So reason number one, Goth Rogue is always being portrayed as a teenager. I need people to understand this. Rogue is a grown-ass adult. She joined the X-Men as a grown-ass adult. The only time that she was a teenager was when she was with Mystique and Destiny. But by the time she joined the X-Men, she was a full-grown adult woman. I hate when they make Rogue be a teenager because it's like, why? Rogue is a grown-ass woman, not a teenager. So why do y'all keep making her a teenage girl? Now, with X-Men Evolution, they get a pass because all the X-Men, with the exception of Storm, Wolverine, and Beast, and Charles Xavier, all of the X-Men are being depicted as teenagers. It was a reimagining of the whole entire team. The X-Men being teenagers. And it was for kids WB. So that's understandable. But when we get into the Fox films concerning Anna Paquin's versions of Rogue, I do not understand why they went into that direction. They made Rogue be a teenager. Rogue should be a grown adult standing next to Storm, standing next to Jean. But they made her be like a runaway teenager. Now, here's a little bit of context because I can offer the movie a little bit of grace. In the comics, Rogue was a teenager when her powers first manifested and she kissed Cody and Cody ended up dying. That happened when she was a teenager and that caused her to run away from home and then she ended up in the care of Mystique and Destiny. So I feel like in the movies, they applied that same mentality. But instead of Rogue, being under Mystique, being under Destiny, serving under the Brotherhood, serving as a villain, fighting the Avengers and whatnot, they eliminated all of that experience and allowed Rogue to join the X-Men straight from her being a teenager after her powers manifested. I don't have a problem with that, but I have an overall problem with Rogue being a teenager because, like I said, Rogue is a grown-ass adult. She is an adult woman. She should not be experiencing the same type of problems, the same type of puberty that a teenage girl is experiencing because Rogue is a grown-ass woman. She's been there. She's done that. And I would like Rogue to be adapted into X-Men media as a grown-ass woman only. Now, in the show Wolverine and the X-Men, in my mind, she's a teenager because they make Iceman look like a teenager, which I have a problem with. They make Kitty look like a teenager, which I have a problem with. But if you look at Rogue, she looks like a teenager standing next to Iceman and Kitty. But then when you see characters like Emma Frost, and when you see characters like Storm, they are animated to look as if they are full-grown ass women. And for some reason, Rogue, in that particular animation, she does not look like a full-grown ass woman. She looks like a teenager. And I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. Again, as I said earlier, Rogue joined the X-Men as a grown-ass adult. Why are we depicting her as a teenager? So yeah, that's one of the things I hate about Goth Rogue. Anytime they bring her on screen in any type of X-Men media, they make Goth Rogue be a teenager, and Rogue is not a teenager. So yeah, let's move on. And now the second reason why I cannot stand Goth Rogue is because of this. Pisses me off so bad. It's because of this relationship, this like father-daughter relationship, mentor-mentee relationship between Wolverine and Rogue. Where the did this come from? Why on earth would y'all even insert that? What the hell? So we're going to take it back to the movies. You know, in the first X-Men films, when Rogue runs away, she stows away in Wolverine's truck, and the both of them, they were attacked by Sabretooth, and Storm and Scott saves them, and they decide to join the X-Men at the same time. And because Rogue is a teenager, she latches on to Wolverine, and that's how they became close.
You don't know what it's like to be afraid of your powers.
Yeah, I do.
I want to be able to touch people, Logan.
I hope you're not doing this for some boy.
In X-Men Evolution, Rogue identifies with Wolverine because she's a loner and Wolverine is a loner. When Rogue loses control of her powers, Wolverine steps in and be like, listen, you ain't no punk. You can control this. I understand where you've been. I understand how people like to take advantage of your mutant abilities. And I'm here with you. We can get through this together.
Logan, there's too many of them.
Fight it, Rogue. Stay tough.
No.
So that's where we saw that mentor-mentee relationship between them. And then in Wolverine and the X-Men, this version of Rogue and Logan's relationship pisses me off the most because it's so overly dramatic. You can see Rogue in the first episode chastising Wolverine because Wolverine is once again leaving, and she feels that Logan is abandoning her.
She gonna say goodbye?
No.
You know I'll be back, Rogue.
Who cares?
People here care for you.
It's not the same.
Or what?
Can't you see I'm just like you?
And clearly she has some deep feelings for Wolverine, not in a loving way, but as I said, in like a mentor figure way, a father figure type of way. And the feelings that she is displaying, she's like, Wolverine, if you're going to leave the X-Men, I need you to be here. Not necessarily for the rest of the X-Men, but I need you.
Just come back to the X-Men and...
Forget it.
Why?
The reason you don't know is exactly why. I'm not going to let you abandon me again.
And you can see throughout the series that Wolverine and Rogue have this big rocky relationship, and it kind of heals up near the end.
Does Wolverine look angry to you? I think he looks angry.
He always looks like that. I'm sorry for doubting you, for thinking you'd abandon the team.
I hate it. I hate it all. I especially hate Wolverine in the X-Men version of it, but I hate this relationship between Wolverine and Rogue. This is terrible. It's absolutely terrible. First of all, as I said earlier, when Rogue joined the X-Men, Rogue was already a grown-ass adult. She was already a grown-ass adult. So, again, I do not like Rogue being depicted as a teenager, that she is seeking mentorship from an older figure. Yes, Wolverine technically is like 100,000 years old. We don't know how old Wolverine is. He's just old as hell. But regardless of the situation, Rogue and Wolverine, they are equal. It's not Wolverine up here and Rogue being down here. They are equal. They are both team members. They have each other's back. Instead of it being like an older figure and a younger figure relationship, it's more of a brother and sister relationship. It's more of a, I got your back. You are not going to say the most trustworthy team member, but you are one of the most dependable team members, and vice versa. They have that type of relationship, that type of bond. It's not like Wolverine considers Rogue to be one of his daughters. What? No, you can say that for Jubilee. That is accurate. You can say that for Kitty Pryde. That is accurate. Not accurate with Rogue. Absolutely not. I hate this relationship. This relationship that is being romanticized in all X-Men media concerning Wolverine and Rogue. I absolutely hate it. If we're going to take it back to the comics, as I said earlier, when Rogue joined the X-Men, she was already a grown-ass adult. She was already a grown-ass adult, and nobody on the X-Men was with her. Let's be clear, because as I said, Rogue was a villain. She's attacked the X-Men before. She's attacked the Avengers before. She, caused Miss Marvel to be in a coma, damn near killed her because of her powers. So when she was seeking Charles Xavier's help, and when she joined the X-Men, nobody was with her. They were not putting up with her at all. Wolverine especially was not digging Rogue, which is crazy. But what ended up happening, Wolverine was getting married to Yuriko. It was a situation that went down. Rogue stepped in to prevent Yuriko from being attacked. Rogue demonstrated her heroism by saving Yuriko and standing in the line of fire so her or Logan would not be harmed from whatever villain that they was fighting. I can't remember. I think they was fighting a whole bunch of ninjas or something. And from that moment, Wolverine, recognizing that Rogue saved him, but not only saved him, saved one of the women that he genuinely loved. That is how Rogue and Wolverine's bond started. And it ended with Wolverine taking off his glove and touching Rogue so she can heal. Even though that, Rogue's powers were going to be draining Wolverine and damn near killing him. But he understood the risk. He was so astonished that Rogue would risk her life in order to save himself and save Yuriko. So again, as I said, the relationship between Rogue and Logan, it is not a father-daughter. It is not a mentor-mentee. It is, we got each other's back no matter what. I got your back, you got my back. They depend on each other. They save each other. They are the ones, as I said earlier, Wolverine and Rogue, they are the ones that will swing first. They are the ones that will start the fight because in their minds, it's like, we are going to protect our team. Wolverine, he got the claws and he has the healing factor. Rogue, I got the super strength, I got the invulnerability, I got the fight. So we don't mind being the first ones to swing because we're going to protect our family. The X-Men, they are family. And Rogue and Wolverine, they are brothers and sisters. So I just hate it. I'm sorry. I just don't like it. I do not like how it's constantly being depicted that Rogue is inferior to Wolverine because in my mind, they are equal. They are absolutely equal.
I want to direct your attention to this panel that's in the Uncanny X-Men issue number 173. This is actually the first mission that Rogue is going on with the X-Men because prior, as I said earlier, Rogue was an enemy of the X-Men. The X-Men were not with her because of what she did to Miss Marvel. So in this particular issue, Wolverine and Rogue, they are trying to sneak in somewhere. For some reason, the security systems fires a blast at Rogue. Now, Wolverine swoops in and he actually saves Rogue from being the victim of whatever beam that is. We don't know if the beam was going to be deadly or we don't know if it was just going to injure her. Wolverine did not want to take any risk, so he decided to swoop in and save Rogue. And the next panel is showing that Rogue is jokingly offering Wolverine a kiss, pretty much thanking him for saving her. And as you can see, their lips are just so close to each other. But Wolverine stops it. He puts his fist up to Rogue's chin. And usually when Wolverine does that, it's a threatening move, saying, do not mess with me or my claws are going to come and stab you in your face. And so Wolverine, in this issue, he is not trusting Rogue because, as I said, Rogue was known as a villain. And Wolverine was also good friends with Carol Danvers. And he did not appreciate what Rogue did to Miss Marvel in terms of stealing her powers. The reason why I'm highlighting this panel is to once again combat the sentiments of Wolverine being a mentor to Rogue, of Wolverine being a father figure to Rogue. Because as you can see right here, Rogue, as a grown-ass woman, Wolverine, as a grown-ass man, Rogue is flirting with Wolverine, offering him a kiss. There is no logical, unweird father and daughter dynamic, mentee-mentor dynamic, where a kiss is going to be offered in a sexual, playful manner as you see in this panel. But this is just another reason why I have these feelings against the Goth Rogue persona. This idea that's overly sensationalized that Rogue is one of Wolverine's daughters, that Rogue is a mentee to Wolverine. Not the case. Not the case. They are grown.
And what's crazy is that I can see the effects of, the X-Men movies or X-Men Evolution or Wolverine and the X-Men. I can see the effects of people believing that Wolverine and Rogue have this father-daughter relationship. Yuck. Yuck. I can see the effects because even when I see clips of Marvel Rivals and people are posting the characters' interactions, multiple creators have posted the conversation that Rogue and Wolverine had. And if you look in the comment section, there you see it. People are saying like, oh yeah, Rogue is one of Wolverine's daughters. Wolverine has always been a mentor to Rogue. Wolverine is always like a father figure to Rogue.
That's a lot more power than you're used to, darling. Sure you can handle it.
Normally, I'd put on a brave face and say yeah, but I'll be honest, it's tearing me up.
I know that feeling. Every time I pop my claws. If you need a healing factor.
Then I know just the guy to touch. Thanks, Logan, for everything.
No. Again, no. No, hell no. Wolverine is not no damn mentor figure to Rogue. Wolverine is not no damn father figure to Rogue. It's just no. It's just absolutely They're not father-daughter. They're not mentor-mentee. They are here. Same level. They got each other backs. They ride for each other. They work hand in hand together. And the reason why I feel so passionate about this because when I was in middle school reading X-Men comics, one of the main X-Men teams that I always used to read was when Storm was the leader of the X-Men. Storm was the leader of the X-Men. She was the main leader. Magneto was the headmaster of the Institute until he left because Magneto is not dependable. And Storm's team, it was Colossus, it was Nightcrawler, it was Kitty Pryde, it was Wolverine, and it was Rogue. Psylocke came along, Dazzler came along, Longshot came along. That was Storm's team. So I'm so used to reading the comics, seeing Rogue and Wolverine act like brothers and sisters. So when I see in X-Men media that they portray them as Rogue is inferior to Wolverine, like it's a father-daughter relationship, absolutely not. I hate it. Absolutely hate it.
Another thing that I wanted to highlight about Rogue and Wolverine's dynamic is one of the very reasons why I love Rogue as a character. As we know, Wolverine is perceived to be the toughest guy. Him having claws pop out of his hands, it's a good front for people not to mess with him. So with that being said, that persona goes to Wolverine's head a lot. Wolverine thinks that everybody is scared of him. Wolverine is intimidating. It could be considered bullying at some point. But the thing about Rogue is never scared of Wolverine. The dynamic between Rogue and Wolverine, like I said, is brother and sister, but it's also in the sense of Wolverine, I could whoop your ass. Those claws mean nothing to me. So don't try it. And in this panel right here, you can see that Wolverine is once again coming off intimidating, coming off as a bully, coming off extremely stern. You can see in this panel that Wolverine is being rude towards Prodigy. He's calling Prodigy a punk, basically. And Rogue intervenes and tells Wolverine to back off. And once again, I love moments like this because it is a clear indicator that Rogue isn't nobody's daughter. Rogue is nobody's mentee. Rogue is not inferior to a man like Wolverine. She does not care. She fears no one. So in correlation to the goth version of Rogue, as I said, the overall sentiments that people are believing is that Rogue is one of Wolverine's daughters. Rogue is a mentee to Wolverine. Not the case. Not the case at all. You know, Rogue and Wolverine, they have a friendship. They have a brother and sister dynamic. But with that being said, Rogue is not afraid to let it be known that I will take you down. No questions asked. You can bully everybody else on the X-Men. You can intimidate everybody else on the X-Men. You can be rude to everybody else on the X-Men. No, I am not a leader, but I'm also not the one that you want to try to bully. And don't think just because I'm a woman that you can attempt to undermine me. But also in that same regards, Rogue is not intimidated by Wolverine. But she will intervene. She will step in when she witnesses Wolverine being intimidating to others, as we see right here with how Wolverine is speaking to Prodigy. Rogue is not scared. And she damn sure isn't scared of Wolverine. My last reasoning for hating Goth Rogue. Again, hate is such a strong word. If I said hate earlier in the video, I apologize. I just don't care for the depiction. Hate is such a strong word because Rogue is one of my top 5 favorite X-Men characters, so I f with her no matter what. But I just can't stand the Goth Rogue persona. Anyway, reason number 3 why I do not like the Goth Rogue persona is because Rogue is constantly being portrayed. Goth Rogue is constantly being portrayed as a weak ass, useless. Why are you there, X-Men team member?
Oh, hell no, man. What the fuck, man? Get your ass on me.
This way!
In the movies, Anna Paquin's character, in X-Men Evolution, Wolverine and the X-Men, Rogue does not have super strength. She does not have flight. She does not have invulnerability. She can only touch people. Now, I will say in X-Men Evolution, there have been many episodes showing Rogue handling more than one power and just absolutely killing it. So I can understand the cool factor when people say, oh, Rogue is so cool when she can, you know, absorb more than one power and utilize it. I get where y'all coming from. I definitely get and understand where y'all coming from. Basically, in all 3 of these depictions, Rogue has not come across Miss Marvel because that's how Rogue gained the power of super strength, flight, and invulnerability. She gained it from touching Miss Marvel for a long period of time and gaining those powers from her to the point that it affected her consciousness, but we'll save that topic for another video. I understand the sentiments of we're glad that Miss Marvel, Carol Danvers, was not introduced because you are able to see Rogue's identity outside of the drama of her trying to maintain her own identity when it was conflicting with Carol Danvers. Like, when all 3 of those versions, they eliminated anything having to do with Carol Danvers, Miss Marvel, because it was only focused on Rogue. You know, so I understand why people are drawn to those versions of Rogue because it's solely about Rogue and it's not about anybody else. It's solely about her. But let's be clear, the X-Men are superheroes and we all tune into superheroes because we want to see what? Fights. We want to see what? Action. We want to see what? Powers.
Remember it!
So imagine growing up in the 90s. Imagine reading the comic books, watching X-Men animated series, and you're seeing Rogue being a powerhouse.
Here and fight me fair!
That fair enough? Oh, boy.
She is like the Wonder Woman of the X-Men. She does all the heavy lifting and she's a girl. They didn't even need Colossus. They don't need any guy that has super strength to carry the load. to carry the burden of being that reliable team member that can do all the heavy lifting, because they got Rogue.
Damned if I know. Dang asteroid exploded.
That's why I love Rogue. That is why I love Rogue. My problem with Goth Rogue, she is being displayed, presented as a weak ass bitch in all three of these adaptions. Basically, if there's nobody around that Rogue can touch and take powers from, why is she there? When you see Rogue entering a mission, it's not like she's touching everybody before they enter the Blackbird. It's not like she's preparing herself to do whatever she needs to do to complete the mission. So she's like, okay, well, let me touch Storm so I can fly. Let me touch Iceman so I can turn my body into ice. Let me touch Wolverine so I can have a healing factor. Let me touch Jean Grey or Emma Frost so I can have telepathy. It's not like she's doing that before the mission. Rogue hits every single mission on her own. She's not absorbing anything. And so when she's in the field, she needs to touch somebody in order to make herself a useful team member.
Sorry, Bobby. Gotta borrow some ice.
But if she does not touch anybody, she's just going to be standing there. What the hell? But I said all this to say, I love Rogue. My favorite version of Rogue is the powerhouse, long-haired, sassy personality Rogue. When I'm reading X-Men comics, that is the Rogue that comes to my mind. So yeah, those are my overall thoughts concerning Rogue. Give me your takes. Sound off in the comments. I know you guys are gonna bring the heat. I'm ready for it. I just bring it on. We can have debates all out through the comment section. Y'all do it on all the other videos, so why not now? Yeah, give me your takes on Goth Rogue. What is your favorite version of Rogue? Sound off in the comment section. Make sure you guys like and subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.